Iron Nest is a heavy turret simulator, and I've been testing it on the Steam Deck for a while now, and it turned out to be a lot more fun than I expected going in. It runs well, it plays great with the deck's controls once you know which controls to use, and it's a really relaxing game, so let's get into it. Now, Iron Nest is exactly what the name says it is. You're not commanding an army from a map screen somewhere behind the lines, you're sitting inside a massive dieselpunk artillery machine gun. High Command sends you orders with coordinates, you find them on this huge map covered in sectors and sections, and then you work out the angle of the gun, the distance you're shooting at, the average height of the gun so that you can actually land a shell on something you can't really see. If you've been gaming long enough, you know the shape of this already. There was a Windows 98 game called Bang Bang with two guns on this hill that pretty much had the basics of this game. You kind of had to adjust height and distance to hit the other gun. Except this time you're inside the gun. Instead of watching it from the side, you're doing the match yourself, and there's a lot of stuff involved. It's like that game on steroids. Now, in terms of performance on the Steam Deck, you're looking at between 45 and 60 FPS, and honestly, it leans a lot more towards 45 on the medium settings, which it defaults to. Specifically, it's mostly 40 to 45 FPS, and I think medium is the preset that they're actually targeting for Steam Deck because it's where the game settles without any really complaints, any stutters, any movement. And for this type of game, I think that is perfectly fine. You're not reacting to anything at speed here, you're turning a crank, you're reading a number off a dial, so you really don't need more than 30 to 40 FPS for this game. The only thing I changed is I turned on FSR. FSR is off by default and you can absolutely play without it, but you can also set it to quality and not lose that much fidelity. Now, the thing I really don't like about the FSR in this game is that it's also tied to the text, and there is a lot of text and a lot of numbers that you have to read. And the further you reduce FSR, the blurrier that text becomes. If you set it to ultra performance, you can barely read anything on the screen. You can either set this to ultra quality and still get some benefits, or you go with quality, which I think is good enough, and anything below that and you're trading away the only thing the game actually asks you to look at. Battery life on the Steam Deck OLED comes out to about 3 hours and 15 minutes, which for a game you play in long, slow sessions is exactly the number you want. I didn't test this on the LCD, but it's probably about an hour and a half on the LCD. The install size is also very tiny, it's only 3.41 gigabytes. Now, I want to talk about the controls because this is where it gets kind of interesting. This game has a lot of knobs and dials and levers that you pull, and all of it can be done with the Steam Deck's controls. It has full controller support. That is the good news. The less good news is that it does get kind of tedious to try and navigate around with the analog sticks and point at different levers and click them, especially when you're doing it 40 times in a mission. It actually comes in real handy that this game also supports touchscreen input, so you can just reach up and touch some of the levers, but the thing that really made this click for me was the right trackpad. If you use the right trackpad to turn around and navigate, you can do these really micro adjustments where you select the correct dial and the correct lever, and it makes the game so much easier to play. So if you take one thing away from this video, I would recommend playing Iron Nest with the right trackpad rather than with the analog stick. This game might not be for everybody, and I want to be honest about that. My first 15 minutes, I almost gave up on it. I first launched it and was completely overwhelmed. There's a lot on the screen and none of it explains itself immediately, but there are tutorials there if you find them, and if you spend maybe 15-20 minutes going through them and figuring out how to do the measurements on the map, how to adjust the turret and how to actually shoot, the whole thing kind of opens up. After that, you're not really fighting the interface, you're just working the gun, you're doing the measurements. And working the gun turns out to be really, really relaxing. I didn't expect it to be this interactive and this much fun, but it is. So overall, I think this is a pretty good game to play on the Steam Deck. It performs well enough that performance stops being a topic. The battery life is good, the install size is tiny, and the slow, deliberate pace of it fits a handheld a lot better than I thought it would. That's gonna be it for Iron Nest on the Steam Deck. If you guys enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like. If you hated it, leave a dislike and let me know what I can do to improve. And if you're into Steam, Steam Deck, Steam hardware and gaming handhelds, consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.